Hello, it's Vivian here. Welcome to episode 2 of Sit and Knit with Vivette. First of all, thank you to all of you who are returning from having watched my first podcast a month ago. Thank you again to everyone who commented, who liked, who subscribed, who sent me some feedback on it. It's all very much appreciated. Thank you very much. So if you're coming back, welcome back. And if you're a new viewer, hello. Sit down, get comfortable and spend the next 20 minutes or so with me just talking about what I've been doing over the last month or so. So with that in mind, for those of you who are new, this is a little bit more about myself. My name is Vivian, but I am known across social media as Vivette B1. I'm mainly on Instagram and I do also have a Ravelry page and I will put links to both of those below. I live in Essex with my partner Sean and our cat Bonnie. And I'm a self-employed virtual assistant for small craft businesses. So what that means is I do a lot of their admin and paperwork virtually or remotely from home, which allows them to carry on doing on the creative side without having to get bogged down in spreadsheets. Because those who know me, know that I love a spreadsheet, but that's a different story. So as you're here for knitting content, let's start with what I've finished since I last spoke to you. As I explained in my first podcast, this year I've set myself a goal of actually knitting as many hats for the homeless as I can out of my stash. It's a great way of busting my stash, and it also is a lovely way to give something back to my local community. Our local library actually collects them towards the end of the year to pass on to the homeless of the local area. So I'm just knitting them all, putting them in a box, and I will deliver the box to the library around about October, November time. So when I spoke to you last month, I'd completed 3 that I showed you last month, and since then I've completed 3 more, and I will show you those now. So the first one I finished is this one here that was on my needles at the end of last month. It's yarn from my stash. I don't have the ball band anymore, so I have no idea where it came from. It's a lovely jadey green colour, and the pattern that I used is the Alexis pattern, which is a paid for pattern in Ravelry. It's actually knit on an Aran weight in the pattern, but I just went down a needle size and up a stitch size basically to get a double knit, because I believe the yarn is double knit. Most of my stash is double knit. Again, nice long 10cm brim that you can fold up, just pattern it all the way up and then just added the pom-pom at the end. So that is one ready to go in the box. Once I'd finished that one, you may remember that I was working on an Aran tweed one on the Barley hat by Tin Can Knits. Unfortunately, I wasn't enjoying knitting that one for some unknown reason, so I decided to frog it and cast on something new. And I did. So the next one that I finished was this one here. This one is using 2 different yarns. So this one, I believe the brim is a Starcraft. Again, none of them have ball bands, which is why they're in my stash, because they're all part balls. And then this ball I was given a while back, by somebody who was having a bit of a clear out. So I don't know what it is. It's very soft, so I think it is probably a baby wool, because I'm assuming it was meant to be for a baby's cardigan or a jumper or something like that. Very soft, DK, has slight, I don't know if you call it a Fair Isle effect or pattern effect. But it's really nice. So again, it was just a case of a long brim that you can either fold up or you can wear it as a slouchy hat and a pom-pom. I had enough yarn out of both of these to get 2. So I knitted the second one, exactly the same format. Long brim, turn it up, just keep knitting in the round and then decrease and add the pom-pom. So those 2 that can go in the box. I'm very lucky that if there is anything that the library can't pass on to a homeless person, they work with a children's charity and they will pass some of the more smaller sized ones or ones that they feel are more suitable for that charity onto them. So sooner or later, somewhere, somebody or 2 people will get to wear this lovely warm hat. And I think to have a nice bright hat when it's quite bleak in winter is a lovely idea. So again, I got 2 out of that, and I've got a small amount of yarn left in one of them, I think. Yeah, just that's about all that I've got left. So I thought that was quite good going. So that's those 2. So those are the ones that I've been knitting for the hat box to go to the homeless at the end of the year. Other than that, I have also knit 2 other hats in the last month, which, seeing as February is a very short month, I've done rather well, I think. So the first one that I knit was for my partner Sean, and this is just a variation on his favourite hat. He likes the violet waffle hat, which I can't find the original, but this is the same pattern, but I just do a folded brim instead of just the standard 5 to 6 centimetre inch, and I just fold it up. So I do an extra long one and fold it up and then just carry on the pattern. So he requested a new one because he's worn his other one so much, and as you can see I've put a little love tag on there for him, but I don't think he's actually noticed it, to be honest, but never mind. Again, this was yarn from Stash, so I have no idea what it is. I have a feeling it's acrylic, which for him is probably quite good because they do take a bit of a robust stuffing in the coat pocket or thrown in the bag or usual thing. So it's good, robust, and it keeps him warm. And he likes it, and he's worn it already. He wanted to wear it today, but I kind of sent him off with another one so that I could use it for the podcast, but he'll get it back again tonight. So again, so that was my 4th hat. The next hat that I knit was actually part of a test knit that I did for the lovely Barbara of Knitting I Love, who is the lady who makes these tags, by the way. She was asked for test knitters for a new pattern that she has just released, and I was lucky enough to be one of those people. So the pattern is called the Strong Whiskey Hat, and it's now available on Ravelry, so I will link to it in the description box below. It's an Aran weight pattern, and as you can see, it's got a lovely pattern on it, but you don't use cables for this, you use twists, which is something new to me. I hadn't done twists. I will definitely use them again because they give a really lovely effect. This yarn is Sirdar Soft Aran, and I've used about 60 grams of it in the hat, so I have enough left over. I might make, if I can get it out of 40 grams, some matching fingerless mittens, because this is going to be gifted. This is going in the friends and family gift box, ready for upcoming birthdays and Christmas and that. And if I've got enough, I might just get some wrist warmers out of it, because I have a person in mind for this, and they're not really a pom-pom person, so that will go in the gift knits. But again, it's a really lovely hat. It didn't take me maybe 3 to 4 days, and that wasn't knitting on it, that was mainly evening knitting. But again, once you have the pattern in, it's very easy to follow, and I will link to it because, like I say, it's now been released on Ravelry. So those are all my finished objects for the month, with the exception of one, which I will show you now. Last month I talked about being on Sleeve Island with one of my jumpers, and I finished Sleeve Island. I think being on the podcast actually helped me to spur me on to actually finish it so that I would be able to show it to you this month. So here it is. As you can see, it's just a plain long jumper that has a slightly longer hem at the back than at the front. The yarn that I used for the top, the grey, is Cascade 220, which is their 4-ply, and it's just in their charcoal colour. The stripes is some leftover yarn that I had from Stranded Dye Works in their sister colour way. It's on their Oasis base because I used these to make a pair of socks earlier on in last year, and this was about 40 grams that was left over, so it was just the right amount just to give it some striping that starts from like under the arms. This Cascade has been in my stash since March of about 2017. So again, everything that I've used has been stashed. So I've been really good and not had to buy anything this month yet. There's still 12 hours left. So that one I finished, so I will be looking forward to wearing that. But I haven't worn it yet because I don't know if you've been aware, but we've been having 18-degree weather here in Essex in England in the last couple of days, so it's been t-shirts and shorts in February, which is rather impressive, I feel. So carrying on from that jumper, one of the comments that I had in my last podcast was about the jumper that I was wearing in the podcast, and somebody asked for more information about it. So to the lady that did, sorry I can't remember your name, but this is the one that you were talking about, because this is the one that I had on at the last podcast, and the pattern is actually The Mirror by Justina Loroska. I apologise if I pronounced that incorrectly. As you can see, it's got the all over pattern texture, on the whole of the jumper, but I decided purely to do it in the top half, having seen this on some of the projects that people had done on their Ravelry page. It is a paid for pattern on Ravelry, and I will link to it in the description box. The yarn that I used for this one is an opal sock yarn, and it was one that was released as part of their 20 years commemorative anniversary. I got it from Julie at Suffolk Socks, who runs an online sock yarn shop called Suffolk Socks. So I ordered it from her, and I got it beginning mid of last year. So as this was my first jumper, I didn't want to use hand-dyed yarn just in case it went horribly wrong. But I'm very pleased with how it came out, because as you can see, it's striped beautifully down. I didn't have to alternate skeins, I just literally carried on knitting, and the only time that the striping didn't quite work was on the arm, because I've got slightly, obviously it's a lot narrower. I do still have one ball left, which is this one here, so that's it there. And it's in the Heather colourway, 9283, and it was to celebrate 20 years of opal. Whether or not this is still available, I don't know, because like I say, it was in 2018. But out of this, I will either make myself a hat, or I might make a pair of socks. But a really nice wool to work with. So that is a little bit more about the jumper that I was wearing in the last podcast. So that is all of my FOs and for February. Now we will get on to works in progress, and I don't have that many. One of them I can just give you a little glimpse into, because it's another secret test knit, but I will go through it with you. So if you just like to hold 1 second, grab a drink while I just sort things out. Today I'm just drinking water with a couple of slices of orange juice in it, so nothing too horrendous. So the first FO that I want to talk about is some socks. So these are living in another one of my cottage number 9 bags, and this one is so cute because it's got hedgehogs on it and foxes. Look at that, is that not lovely? So these are some socks. I just have to put the afterthought heels in. So I've knitted the socks. As you can see, I just have to put the heels in. Again, this sock yarn is, hold on 1 moment. Starcraft Boho. This is Starcraft Boho, and it is in that colourway. I hope it's focusing. I like it, but I don't like the fact that it doesn't match. But I tried to wind off so that I could get to the next matching point, and I had to wind off so much yarn that I decided against it in the end, because I was like, no, that's almost half the leg that I've got to get rid of just to get it to match. So I decided not to, and I do have quite a lot of the yarn left over. So I have this much left over that I will be able to get another pair of socks out of with contrasting toes, heels and cuffs. And which is why I was very reluctant to wind it off, because there's almost a good 40-50 grams there. Again, the yarn I got it from Julie at Suffolk Socks as part of a commercial sock club that she was running last year. So whether or not she still has it in stock, I don't know. But it is Starcraft Boho. And I will be putting afterthought heels in this colourway, which is the West Yorkshire Spinners in their Penny Royal colourway. I'm not confident enough to put afterthought heels in yet without a lifeline. So those are what these are. I know I've placed the heels, I just need to put a lifeline in because I'm not confident enough to pick my stitches up without a lifeline first. So these will be finished within the next couple of weeks. I will probably do them at the weekend. So that is my first works in progress, but almost at the end of a work in progress. My second work in progress is another hat for the homeless. So this one, again, lovely bright colour. No idea what it is because I've lost the ball band and it wasn't a full ball. But I'm doing another violet waffle hat. So I've just started this one. And this one will be, you can either wear it as a slouchy one or fold up brim. And I will probably put pom-pom on the end of that one as well, because I've gone a bit pom-pom crazy this month. But again, nice easy knit. So that one will be finished for March, and then I will cast on another one. I will just raid stash and have a look at. So my final 2 works in progress, one I have behind me. So sorry, just before we go on, I will just point out the elephant in the room is me, aged 2.5. So we'll just put that out there. And yes, I do still have the koala bear, which is now 50 years old. So the other thing that I have been working on, and this is living in my own project bag that I made. I made this with the lovely Claire, who is Arty Farty Mac on Instagram, and she runs a Beautiful Things craft studio in Brentwood, near where I live. Claire taught me how to crochet 5 years ago. She also taught me how to sew, and I've since made a few dresses with her. But she makes these. She does run quite a few classes on making this, and this is a sweater's quantity worth of drawstring bag. I will link to her website because she runs her classes both on site at her craft studio and also online. So if you are looking to learn how to make your own project bags or whatever, you might be able to join one of the online classes. So I'll put all the links below for you. So what I'm working on at the moment is a summer top, and it's called the Buttercup top, and there is a paid for pattern. Oh no, it might be a free pattern on Ravelry. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's just like a summer top with a little lace section at the top. It's a DK weight, and I'm doing it in the Serdar Dapple colourway. So this colourway is called Midnight Blues. 100 grams, 330 metres, and it's an acrylic wool mix. I've just started it, so I'm just still working on the raglans, but as you can see, it's working up. It's quite a nice one, and it's really going to be for spring and for autumn, really, where I kind of want a short sleeve, but I want something a little bit warmer than a cotton top. So that is on my needles at the moment. It might take me a little while to do that one, because jumpers have a tendency to take a little bit longer for me. The only other jumper that I have at the moment, I should just turn around and get you that one, is, again, living in another bag that I made with Claire, which is our drawstring pin bag. Again, great. You can make these in all different sizes, but I made the sweater quantity. And what I love about this bag is not only did I make it myself, but it's everything that I've made it in has been recycled. So the corduroy that I've made it in, I picked up in a charity shop, and it was half an old curtain. They only had one half, and they were about to throw it out because they didn't think they could use it. So I said, I'll buy it. And like I say, I turned that. And the inside patterning, which I absolutely love, these little Japanese ladies, is a skirt that I made with Claire, but I never actually finished. And I knew that I'd never wear it because it wasn't really my style, but I wanted to learn how to make a skirt, so I did it. And I thought, and it's just sat in a box waiting to have its hem put on it for about 12 months, 18 months, maybe 2 years even. So I thought, right, I will use that as the thing. And she also has devised a way with a zip where you can actually put your pins on without actually catching your yarn. But like I say, this is one that she does offer as an online course, so I will link to it in the description box below. And this jumper that I'm doing is another cotton top, and I've done the back and I've just finished the front, and I just need to pick it up now to join it together and put the arms on. I'll show you the final pattern. It's a Starcraft pattern, and that is using how it looks like when it's finished. I haven't used Starcraft yarn. I've used King Cole Cotton Soft, but I just wanted to, but it's lovely because it's really easy, because you just literally just pick up, and it's like a drop sleeve, and just pick up my neck back. It's really, I made one last summer in a denim blue colour, which I've worn quite a lot, so I wanted to make another one. So I've just literally got to the point now where I am picking up to join at the top, and then adding on the band for the sleeves. The colourways for this Cotton Soft, that is their purple, and this one is called Key Lime. Again, very, very soft cotton, DK weight, really lovely to work with rather. And that one I hope to have finished in the next couple of weeks, because if the weather is going to be as lovely as it is now, I'm going to get to wear it sooner than I thought. And finally, the last work in progress that I have at the moment is part of a secret test knit that I'm doing again for Barbara of Knitting I Love. So I can't show you the pattern, but I will show you the yarn that I'm using. Again, living in another drawstring bag from Claire. I have quite a few of them. So the yarn that I'm using for this secret test knit is this. It's Chromatic Yarns from Hannah of Chromatic Yarns, and it's on her sturdy DK base, and it's called Storm of Vengeance. Now I've already knit I had 2 skeins of this. I've already knit myself a hat and some fingerless mittens from her rather. And if I can actually work out how to do it, I will insert a picture up here when I edit. But that is now what I'm using for this test knit of Barbara's. It's it's a really lovely pattern. It's not a hat this time, that's all I'm telling you. And once it's been released, I will actually post a picture on my Instagram and also talk about it in the next podcast. So in all, that is everything that I have on my needles, everything that is off my needles. And I think for February, that's quite good going, personally. So what is coming up? Well, in the next couple of weeks, I will be going on a knitting retreat. I am going to the Lucy Locketland retreat in the beginning of March. And I may or I may not video and film while I'm there. If I'm having too much of a good time, I'm likely to forget to take the camera out of the bag. But I am looking forward to it. I know that one day we have a lady coming who dyes using natural ingredients, so things like out of the hedgerows and stuff like that. And I believe, weather permitting, that we will go on a slight forage, so she can show us the different type of materials that she can find in the hedgerow that she's able to use in her dyeing process. So I'm really looking forward to that, because that's not something that I've done before. I have dyed my own yarn before. I went on a course to do it using the acid-based dyes, but this one is using all natural ingredients, so I think that will be a really interesting day. So I'm really looking forward to that. The other big event that I have coming up, and it's a way off yet, so it's not until June, is I will be at Woolin in Dublin on the 14th, 15th of June, I believe it is. I will be visiting family over in Ireland that week, so I'm going to take the opportunity to spend a day in Dublin at Woolin. So if there is anybody that is going on the Saturday, because that's the day that I'm going to be there, and would like to catch up for a coffee or a quick hello, do drop me a note either here or on Instagram or via email at Ravelry, and I'm sure we can arrange something. I will be going with Sean's mum because we're having a girls' day out, but I'm more than happy if everybody wants to have a quick get together and organise a coffee somewhere local to the venue or at the venue itself if there is a coffee. I believe there is coffee there. I'd love to do so. So that is a couple of way off. It's in June, but it's something to look forward to on the calendar. But my next big outing will be the retreat in a couple of weeks' time, and I cannot wait. 2 days of sitting and knitting. What more could you ask for? So thank you for spending some time with me today as I talk you through what I've been knitting recently and what I've got on the needles for next month. If you've liked what you've seen, give me a thumbs up. If you liked it even more and would like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. And I look forward to catching up with you next month. Take care now. Bye bye.